and this is The End Show. And I'm your host, Gus Summers. Good to be back with you today. We are broadcasting live from the Sunset Strip in the entertainment capital of the world. That's right, Hollywood. And we got a great show for you today. We have in studio two big stars. One happens to be not only a graffiti artist, movie star, TV star, Mr. Corin Nemec.
Oh, what's happening, guys?
What's up, Corin? And, of course, our wonderful other guest, Shifty. That's a great name, Shifty.
Oh, thank you.
I have to ask right off, how'd you come up with Shifty?
It's a little dodgy.
Well, we'll keep it friendly.
Yeah, we'll keep it. Just I was a little bit suspicious. Yeah, a little shifty. And so people started calling me Shifty. I was always up to something I probably shouldn't be doing.
So was I. That's how me and you met.
Right, yeah.
Oh, interesting. So how did you guys meet?
Man, well, do you want to tell the very first time we ever met at the graffiti yard on was it Sepulveda and Pico, the Pico tracks?
Yeah. That's a good story.
It was probably like 1987, I think, and I was down there with a buddy of mine, Dapper. I used to tag Chrome. We were Valley riders from North Hollywood, and we're down there.
And that was like a BC yard, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was a BC yard, and we were down there doing this big mural. I had like several, milk crates full of paint, fresh cans, and we had just finished our sketch. And I see these two guys, Dream and Green, from a crew called SMD. I won't tell you what that stands for. You can probably figure it out. but they showed up, and you can jump in there because Seth and one of his homies happened to be there.
We were down there. we were kicking it, and these two cats, Dream and there was this whole like. I don't know. A lot of painters. There used to be friction on the tracks.
Yeah.
But I remember that they saw the opportunity to take a lot of paint.
Yep.
And rolled up, and they took the cans, and there wasn't really much.
There was nothing
you could
do.
It was kind of like big fish eat little fish.
Exactly. Because Dream and Green were huge,
big cats.
Yeah. Yeah, giant dudes, and older than us too. I mean, I was probably only 15 at that time. 14 or 15 or whatever, and not in my neighborhood. So it was funny because Seth was there that day, and then about I don't know, maybe a year or so later we ended up meeting. I was like, oh, you were there. I was like, dang, but it was
and
funny.
Then we went to Excelsior.
Yeah, we went to Excelsior
went
together.
To school together.
Did you?
Yep.
Went to a really cool little school that was basically for people like artists and
in the industry,
and people in the industry, and
it was me, Seth, Balthazar Getty,
Mila Jovovich, Justin Warfield,
who was the lead singer on She Wants Revenge, Soleil Moonfry, Christina Applegate went there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a who's who.
It was a cool little school. Yeah. We used to get in trouble, we used to walk across.
We used to try to get in trouble.
We would get in trouble. There's some things there that. I mean, it was pretty. Wild.
It was hilarious.
Wow.
But I mean, remember that little spot across the street where we used to go eat?
Yeah. Of course. Oh yeah.
I mean,
the little Asian diner.
Yeah, the little Asian diner was tight.
So we've known each other back then, but it was really the Graff scene that how we got introduced, and in fact Risky, who I created the show with, he he used to write back in the day, but Seth was the youngest member of West Coast Artists, which was one of the crews that Risky founded back in the day, and one of the most iconic graffiti crews in the West Coast, but also in the world, And that tripped me out too, and then also some of our other performers. Andre Legacy was also in CBS, which was
I was in CBS.
Yeah, exactly.
And AWR.
Yep, and AWR and all
that.
I
had Kelly Gravel was my cousin, so we always hung out. He raised me, and then Eclipse from AWR. Yeah. Both of them took me under their wing when I was little, and so I kind of was. Mess with, and then Skate. I knew Skate. Rest in peace. I kind of hung out a lot in the Fairfax area.
Yeah. Right.
So when a long time ago, I remember CBS. CBS was,
they were the biggest crew in LA.
Biggest crew
in
LA. They were out of control, and I remember one day Skate was he asked me to go in. He said, what are you gonna? He's like, what are you gonna do? I want to get, and they gave me these tasks I had to do, and I remember I had to go up and write on the Hard Rock Cafe car sticking out of the roof. And they were all down there watching, and I found a way up there through the Beverly Center, and I did it.
That's genius.
Yeah.
So that was the initiation, or was that,
was
just
my initiation?
Yeah.
and Risky was down there watching you and everything?
No, not Risk.
No,
He was a different crew,
this was
but-
Skate. And
Oh, it's
Air
good. Okay.
and Anger and.
Because Risk has fame for going over the overpasses and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, back in the day, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it was the freeways and all that, and but yeah, man. So you know, our history in that respect is deep, and then even that crew, you know, how graffiti works is, you know, I mean, me and Justin Moorfield, for instance, were in the same graffiti crew called TCF. Which you know was down with a lot of these other guys, but then also from CBS was Andre Legacy, who's performing. Also, Mickey Avalon was in CBS, who's another rapper that hangs with Andre Legacy's crew. Kev Hicks, who's performing, was in a crew called COA back in the day, which was a huge crew in the Valley. That's how I first met him when I was 13. You know, and I mean, you know, all of this. David Arquette was from KGB back in the early '80s, which is iconic, you know, LA graffiti crew. And you know, so all of this really comes out of the graffiti scene. All the relationships, the friendships, you know, and everybody has continued to advance in their particular careers, and we finally have all risen to a point where it makes sense, man. It's a trip.
It's becoming an accepted art form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Because the big thing is, one of the reasons you're here is that there is a festival this weekend.
That's right.
You want to elaborate?
Sure. Yeah. The festival's called Peacefest, and it's a PIECE. You can find it at facebook.com/Peacefest. You can also find us at Peacefest on Twitter. We have a Kickstarter going as well. You can go to Kickstarter and look up Peacefest and find us. And you know, that's an important part of this. Is you know, we're doing this independently, and we're raising money for the Pico Union Housing Corporation, which owns the property called the Graff Lab, where the event is taking place. And the Graff Lab was set up by Pico Union Housing Corporation after 2006, when LA County shut down all of their after-school programs for kids. So they started this as an after-program school for kids. So they have art, they have all the graffiti walls there for kids to paint on. They have a music studio for them to record in. They have, you know, counseling for them on site. They have boxing for them. They have dance classes. They have all of these things, you know, all free. You know, and this is all provided by Pico Union Housing Corporation, which has low-income housing for you know, families that need it and stuff. So we're doing the event there, raising money and awareness for that, and at the same time we're also going to be shooting a pilot for a new television show called The Chosen One, which is where Seth comes into this as well. He's going to be one of our judges, so it's great that you got to hear a bit of a history on his graffiti, because it makes sense why he's one of our judges, you know. And we're branding Java Monster energy drinks in the murals. So we have an artist from Australia named The Massive and an artist from LA named Abel. And our judges are OG Risk, who's also one of the creators of the show, Shifty, David Faustino, who has just founded a new record label called Old Scratch Records, and one of his performers, Patience Price, is performing their debut act that they're releasing, and Peter Mays, who's the executive director of the LA Arts Commission, is one of the judges, which is very exciting for us. And Dingo, who is a world famous snowboarder for Monster Energy, is going to be there representing Monster as their eyeballs on it. So you know, we have Shifty, David Faustino, Risk, Peter Mays, and Dingo. That's a great 5 people. And then we have our hosts, or Kev Hicks is going to be hosting, and Jessica Sugar Kuiper will be our 2 hosts as well. And David Arquette executive producing, and DJ Lethal is producing Peacefest and the show as well, and you know, doing all of the music and the on-show DJ and all of that. So it's really exciting. Shifty will be performing. Don't miss that. You got to get there early, and so you can catch all of the performances. Live performances will start at noon and continue on until 9 p.m. But the bulk of the performances will be between noon and 6 p.m. when the graffiti battle is going on, and then there'll be some live bands after that.
Beautiful. And what time does it start?
It starts at 11 a.m. and there will be Luxury Kills will be DJing from 11 a.m. to 12. Then the graffiti battle will begin at noon, high noon, and then the performances will start after that. and you know, it's going to be one hell of a day. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. And you said there's a Facebook page, right? They can get links to buy tickets.
Yeah,
and
there's some
such?
promotions going on out there. You know, there's if you look on the Facebook page, there's a list of promotions. We also have an LA Weekly promotion because they're one of our sponsors, along with Morphic and Ingersoll and, you know, several others, and your show, The In Show. Yes, and the sponsorships are really tight, and we're excited about who we're in business with.
Yeah, fantastic.
So the LA Weekly thing, real quick.
Yes.
If you bring in the October 5th through 11th copy of LA Weekly, which is the best of LA, if you bring that in, it has our ad on page 83. You get in for $15. So that is a great deal, the best deal you're going to find anywhere. So find your copy of LA Weekly, or go and take one from your nearest barbershop and be there.
Nice, fantastic, guys. Again, thanks for coming in. We still got a few more segments to do, so a lot more art to talk about. I'm excited.
Excellent.
All right, appreciate it. All right, well, this is Gus Summers, and you've been listening to The In Show. We have in-studio guests, Shifty and Mr. Corin Nemec. We're going to have a lot more of them in our next segment, so hang in there. We'll be right back. And this is The In Show, and I'm your host, Gus Summers. Good to be back with you today. We got another great show. We have in-studio guest, Mr. Corin Nemec, and his good pal, singer, rapper, artist, all kinds of things, Shifty.
What's up, Gus?
How's it going? What up, Gus?
Hey, you guys got great history together.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, there's so many great stories.
Shifty
It's the
smiles.
tip of the iceberg. We'll save it for the extended version. When we
Right,
write the book, then we can get into the gang banging.
Uh-oh. Just anything you can't get arrested for
Breaking
here.
the warehouse.
Oh yeah, the warehouse, underground raves.
Wow, look at
Casa.
so this Saturday you're going to be at Peacefest.
Yep.
At the Graff Lab,
Venice
outside of
Union.
art.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone's phone.
Someone wants tickets. They
Someone's
already
calling.
want tickets. Get the LA Weekly.
Look at that. That's right. If you get the 5th through 11th LA Weekly, you'll be able to get in there just for a few bucks. So look for that one. Best of LA. Corin, turn off your phone. Hey, so you're going to be there. But Corin, you're a big street artist since you were a kid. Shifty, you were climbing buildings at a single bound, right? So now we know the person's name when you look up and said, how did they get up there?
Yeah.
Right.
That was you.
Like
So-
a monkey.
Like a monkey. And still
Graff
one
monkeys.
piece.
Graff monkeys.
Graff monkeys, nice. But I do want to talk a little bit about what you guys are up to. I know, Shifty, you're going to be performing there, doing
Yeah,
some songs.
I'm gonna be doing some songs. Right now, I'm working on a new record. I'm working with Muggs and Jake Gordon from Orgy, and some a friend TC Paul Oakenfold, and doing a new record that I'm really excited about. I have a new band, but we haven't really let the name out for the new band. We're actually arguing
Arguing about the name.
the names.
You
There's
have
no name for it yet.
no
but
name?
But the record is coming out really cool, and I'm excited about it.
Nice.
So just doing that, and I'm excited to be part of this.
So you're gonna be doing a bunch of like a set of the new tracks and everything for everybody at the at Peacefest.
No.
You're gonna be doing some of the older stuff
I'm
first.
gonna do some of the older stuff. I'm saving the new stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, I'm doing like one song.
Well, okay, good. So long as you do one.
One new song.
One new song. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And then he's also going to get into the studio with DJ Lethal as well and do some.
Yeah,
stuff.
actually, I'm excited to work with Lethal, but we've been
I know. It's
missing
a
each
beast.
other. It's so hard to get a bunch of musicians together that are on different,
Yeah.
schedules.
Yeah. Trust me,
You
I
went-
know.
He was trying to
trying to
do it, and he
schedule it.
said, "I'm gonna stop trying to do it."
Yeah.
For Peacefest or just
Yeah,
to get
well,
We're
together?
doing a track for.
Oh, I see. I got you. Okay.
Peacefest,
Hey,
right.
nice.
Kind of just about like just something to promote what he's doing, what we're doing, and then it's Patience Price will be on a track, and I mean it's we're just trying to bring all of these creative elements together in order to just propel all of us forward and everything that we're all trying to do,
Nice.
And this also represents in a lot of ways, a lot of people out there might not understand what the 5 pillars of hip hop are. But the 5 pillars are the microphone or the rapping, the DJing, the dancing, the style of music, and the graffiti art. The style of dress and everything like that, and the graffiti art. So it's like within that, we when I was dealing with Risk and the creating of the show and everything, we really wanted to create something that represented all 5 pillars, but kind of in the background. So we have LA Breakers coming out. They're going to be performing. So we're going to have that element, and we're going to get a little bit of a feel of everything. Plus, we're going to have a 100-foot long wall for anybody to paint on. So 33 and a Third, who's also sponsoring this, and Montana Paint. 33 and a Third is on Pico near Redondo Boulevard. That's a graffiti supply store. Risk is one of the owners of that, and they will be there selling cans to all the people at the event. If you're a graffiti artist out there, or you know one that wants to come down and represent, we will allow you to bring some of your own cans. But we have LAPD doing security there, so don't try and smuggle in anything else besides spray paint.
Fantastic, boy! It looks like you have everything all cornered, every aspect of it, laid well.
Yeah, so far, it's taken a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, and a lot of great relationships, like Shifty, with my relationship with him, and my relationships with David Faustino, my relationships with with David Arquette and DJ Lethal, and all of these. These are friendships that go back 20 years. And what's great is to see how those friendships finally, so many years later, come to fruition in a way where it makes sense out of the friendships.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You
like,
bet.
why do we all know each other? What are we all doing here together? What's the point of all of this? And
Right.
suddenly when all that locks in and you go, wow, this is great. You're helping me, Shifty. I'm helping you, Shifty. We're all helping each other. We got this, you know what I mean? It's
You bet.
a band of vagabond troubadours, but what the hell?
That's fantastic. Not only do you have the program set up, but it seems like you have a plan with your friendships and where you're heading to. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we want to do, once we finish up the graffiti show and we edit it all together and everything, Peacefest and The Chosen One will be a collective show. It'll always be going on. We're also going to be filming the entire event from beginning to end. We'll be editing together an hour version of Peacefest for the music market, and then we'll be editing together a half-hour version of the graffiti battle. It'll be fast, hip. This is like a boxing match. The two greats going against each other to see who comes out ahead, and whoever wins has to stay on the show and battle the next person who's willing enough to challenge them when we go to series.
There you go. Are you going to be planning another Peace Fest for next year?
Yeah, that's the whole point. We're gonna put all of our footage together on this. We're gonna take it out. We're gonna go back to the sponsors and this and that, and we're gonna we're gonna raise the money to make this thing on a regular basis, and we're gonna keep raising money for nonprofits in every place we do it. We want to take it on the road eventually and go to each major city where graffiti art and street art is a big deal, and we want to find a mom and pop store, a nonprofit that needs
Nice.
help, and we want to plug them in, and then we want to go worldwide with it, man.
Right. So have an event like maybe a couple times a year worldwide?
Well, what we would do is, a 22-minute, 22 episodes per season. That means we're doing 22 shows. That means we're doing one show, per weekend every month, until we're done. So it's going to be, it's going to be a grind, and but it's going to be big.
You're going to be all in these great cities all around the world. So would you go on the road with it when it travels around? I know you're busy. I know you're going to be producing
I would marry
this and everything.
myself to this show, when we get it off the ground, because that's all I will need to, eat, breathe, and sleep for that period of time. I'll still focus on my acting and producing films and TV things and all of that as well. I'll never stop doing all of that, but the majority of that will come to it. And then, my hope would be that, when we sell the show, that Shifty's, will be willing to come back and be one of at least our first season judges, and along with the other guys we have, and then continue to, perform his new songs and all of that on the show, and just, you know what I'm saying, and just keep it moving with the creative team that we have.
Fantastic! Wow. So basically all the same people are going to be involved. I'm sure the judges are going to be different each city and what have you.
What we would want to do is plug in certain judges. We'd want to have a primary panel that travels with the show, that are primary judges for the show, all of that, but then we would want
get vocals from each area.
Exactly. Like how we have Peter Mays, from who's the from the LA Arts Commission. You know, that guy that's who we'd want to find in each city. Who's the guy that represents the city? And the fact that, see, Peter Mays and the LA Arts Commission, they're getting hot on this whole thing, you know. And there's other places around the world. In fact, in Australia, you know, in Adelaide, in Melbourne, and Sydney, these places, that certain street art, they're actually saying they're actually making it's like hands off. You can't touch this anymore. It's there for life.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is with graffiti art is right now it's got the whole art scene in a chokehold.
Yeah.
I mean, kids that we grew up with, like graffiti artists like Retina and Risky and
Saber
and a lot. I mean, the list goes on and on. You know, Mir are getting huge dollars to do paintings for people, and there's art collectors where it's really become a fine art, and it's broken through to being something that's really special to people, and art collectors are starting to, you know, collect it, and it's not just street art anymore.
That's right.
You know, it's definitely broken through, and the street art has become the real art.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's so cool about, you know, watching it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, because that kind of leads into a question I was going to ask you. I'm glad, you know, great segue, by the way. I was talking to Risk when you were doing that event over the weekend, and I asked him, when you drive, you're on the freeway, do you look at the art, you know, do you judge it? And he goes, yeah, you know, it's not really art anymore. And, you know, and that kind of got me thinking, Shifty, right now you were bringing it up, it's being, you know, accepted. Do you think it's been a shift of consciousness from the public or from the graffiti artist that it's now art?
Well,
Except,
what I think is kids when they're younger get their hands on a spray paint can or identify with tagging on stuff and writing, and it starts with writing on walls, and it's more of like a ego boost, or you're running around, you know, it starts with just being a crazy kid who wants to see your name everywhere. But then, you know, when people start homing in on the actual art aspect of it and drawing and becoming great graffiti artists, you know, then you have real artists that have come to graffiti and become amazing with you know, and graffiti has just taken on a life of its own. I mean, you know, who was it? I mean, the cover, like, I forget who just did the new No Doubt cover. I mean, Retina's doing huge things. You know, you go to street art like, you know, like Obey. You know, I mean, there's lots of different artists who are just taking off. Kelly Gravel with Third Rail, you know, he was one of the pioneers of really taking graffiti art and branding it and putting it into a clothing line. And it's just cool, you know. I mean, back there was con art, there was a lot of things, and now, you know, it's really become something. You know, it always was. There was always like. We always saw the fine art in it. Yeah. But I mean, it's really cool to see these artists get recognition for it in the mainstream.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And I'm touching on what he said just about, you know, I think that what's interesting, because I've thought a lot about this in retrospect, the idea of the tagging and leaving your name somewhere and all of that is like, you know, and this, you know, this gets a little, you know, fruity or whatever, but like to me it was like, how often in life do any of us get to leave a piece of ourselves behind? Right. You know what I mean? And that's what I was thinking about. It's like you get to leave just a little piece of yourself behind the other. You know what I mean? And it's like this.
But it was this
deep
thing
about
like,
it. But the fame and all of that comes with it. There's that.
Know who you are. You know, I mean, it was about getting up on the craziest shit and outdoing each other and like. That's what I meant by that. Is like. Is like we were always trying to step each other up. Absolutely. Like he climbed up on that. I got to climb up on that. You know, like it was kind of like that. You know, so.
And then when Scene did the Hollywood sign, forget about it.
Right, exactly.
Man, we
always pushing each other.
Yeah, we got to get into that. That's some awesome. Some of the crazy stuff besides, what was it, the Hard Rock car? I love that. You know, guys, again.
The statute of limitations.
We won't it doesn't even exist anymore. It doesn't exist,
right,
exactly. Hey, well, we don't know who did it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, again, you know, thanks for coming in. You know, I appreciate it. You know, having a great time.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this is Gus Summers. You're listening to the In Show, and we have in-studio guests Shifty and Corin Nemec, and we're going to have a lot more of them in our next two segments. So you hang in there. We'll be right back. And this is the In Show, and I'm your host Gus Summers. Go be back with you today. We got another great show. We have in-studio guests Mr. Corin Nemec and Shifty. I like that, just quick and easy.
I like the way you say it. Shifty.
Guys, I appreciate you guys coming in. We, in our last segment, I thought we hit on a great topic, which was, you know, how the shift in how people look at art, and just not from the public's perspective, but also from the artists. And Shifty, you were making a great point. You know, some people just want to go out and spray paint, and then other people take it seriously. And as you were talking, it reminded me of, like, you know, we're all in first grade, we all get Crayolas, and, you know, we all color, but then someone starts really picking up on it, and then, you know, throughout the years you watch them evolve and they turn into, you know, an artist, you know, painter, musician, or what have you. You think it sounds like that's basically what you were saying. Everyone goes out there and starts, but then true art starts coming from different people.
Rises to the top, you know. There's I mean, you could always tell
who's
really
gonna make it.
Who was really gifted, you know. I mean, you know, you had your really good artists, and then you had your, you know, bombers, and yeah, I mean, definitely, and a lot of artists that are involved in graffiti could have been great artists at whatever style of art they wanted to do. They just grasped onto graffiti culture and made that their style. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
You were mentioning something off air, which I was going to ask you about. You were talking about some scientists and how they were incorporating. Please, tell us a story.
Yeah, I was hearing. I mean, I've just been hearing about it, but a lot of really like weird, like nuclear scientists, like and crazy
theoretical
stuff,
physicists,
and crazy stuff have been gravitating toward, like Mir. He does these really political, off the wall, crazy.
And he has a lot of geometrical kind of mathematical forms, things in there that are, you know.
His paintings are deep. You'll find all kinds of crazy stuff in there, and so, you know, I heard that there's like a group of art collectors that have started, you know, really getting into his paintings. And, you know, as well as a lot of, you know, you know, he was talking about the elements of hip hop and like now, like a lot of, you know, like I heard Kanye was buying a lot of Retina stuff, and just, you know, I think, you know, music and art and everyone's, you know, being successful at it and complimenting the other people that are good and, you know, on the other end of the spectrum. So.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting too, because when it comes to like this whole the politics of graffiti art and the legalities and all of that and tagging and whatnot. What's interesting to me is when you look back through history, that when they say like the Great Pyramid, for instance, they had no idea who built the Great Pyramid, apparently, or which pharaoh built it until they climbed up above the king's chamber and saw carved into the side of the king's chamber Khufu, which was the name which they then determined it must have been built in the reign of Khufu, and one of the builders, graffitied it inside of there, and therefore we now know. And same thing with ancient Rome. There's a lot that we understand and know from like graffiti that has been found, you know, scribbled on the sides of like old pieces of wall, stuff like that. And then we can even get into cave paintings. You know, what if the reason why they're called cave paintings and they had to paint in caves is because all the cavemen outside said, no, you can't paint on that rock, and the only place they had left to paint was inside caves because it was illegal to paint outside of them. Well, now we got cave paintings, we understand more about mankind. So, you know, when you look at it in retrospect, what is it that's really going on in the long term? And when you punish, you know, art or artists in a criminal fashion, you know, it's insane. That shows the true insanity of our legal system, that they can say that this person who's painting on something can go to jail with rapists, bank robbers, and murderers, you know, because he painted on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you bet.
And suddenly he's just as bad and evil as rapists, child molesters, murderers, and bank robbers, and these kind of. It's insanity.
Right.
It's absolute insanity.
I guess it would depend on the discipline. You know, from an artist standpoint, art is not in a vacuum.
Right.
And then from a politician, you just spray painted that wall, but it could be the person's expression of what they see in their community, what they're thinking, just like those cave paintings.
Exactly.
It could have been their expression
on
the buffalo.
There's a fine line between art and vandalism, you know.
Yes.
And a lot of kids go overboard and write on things that is
sure,
you know,
absolutely.
There's like monuments and statues and things that you probably shouldn't write on.
Right.
That a lot of kids go and, you know, do.
Yeah.
You know, but
But you never know. I mean, I always think. I mean,
I'm one of those kids who wrote on some stuff
they're
I shouldn't
digging
have written.
Yeah, but thousands of years from now, when they're digging some stuff up, they might find like.
But
what's
did you
this?
hear about that? Are you
know what I mean?
about that? There was these mining shafts.
Yeah, that they did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they got all these graffiti artists go down into these mining shafts.
Yes.
and do murals, and then they sealed it up.
Yeah, a time
And
capsule.
left it
yeah,
there.
It's a time
Isn't that
capsule.
amazing? And maybe that's what they did with the cave drillings, the cave
You know,
art.
who knows? It's
So if
like,
you look
know,
down, it's
such
going
a
to say
trip.
Chaka.
Yeah, because people like it's funny
Shaka.
because
Shaka.
anthropologists or like archaeologists, all these they'll make all these presumptions about what are cave paintings. What do they mean?
Right.
How do you know it's just not just dudes in there drawing?
Little kids.
You know what I'm saying?
Go watch
how
that
do
wall.
you know that it's like what that because they did a spirally thing. It means that they believe this or that, or suddenly they drew guys with arrows on hunting buffalo or whatever it is. So that must have been a sacred thing that they had to do. How about they just wanted to paint dudes hunting buffalo?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
exactly what it is.
Exactly.
But that leads into another question. Both of you are artists. Corin, I know you even sang back in the day a little bit.
well, rapped. I never sang, but I did
He
jump
was
into
good.
the rap
What
scene
was
for a
what
little
was
bit.
the name?
Captain Rude
yeah?
Flow.
Captain Rude Flow. Corin was dope. He was dope.
Because that's awesome because multidisciplined. Singer, painter, Shifty the same.
Yeah.
Now,
And we used to freestyle dance.
Yeah,
And
freestyle
we had
dance.
a dance crew. It's just,
I
we had a
mean,
dance crew too back in the day.
I mean, they all went hand in hand.
Right.
Like we used to break dance.
Yeah.
We did graffiti.
Yeah.
Rapping, was something that I picked up from loving graffiti.
right.
And actually, I think I found rapping first. But regardless, they all went hand in hand.
Right.
And it was that's just the one that took off for me that I ended up
Yeah.
Yeah.
really gravitating towards. But for a long time there was nothing that was more fun than just having my spray paint cans and my Juicy Pilot marker and cruising around on the RTD.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
That's awesome. That's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
But now, looking back at it, you're both surviving. Here you are and thriving. Different aspect from then. You have a different point of view, or is it, still the same? Has your mentality changed in how you look at your art?
Mine has.
yeah,
in some
I
ways.
hope so.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. Otherwise, we're in deep shit.
Yeah. Definitely I think as you get older and you refine yourself and you appreciate it. Also a lot of see that this can pick up anything I'm playing with my definitely with music. I mean anything that you practice for a long time, you hopefully grow and
Yeah.
master your art.
Yeah.
It's always about mastering. I don't think you've ever mastered your art, but it's always about growing and becoming the best you can be at something. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just at the studio with Shifty a few weeks back, hearing his new stuff, and just am absolutely floored at where he's at. I mean, his people are going to be blown away with his new music. They're going to be blown away. I was like, this is hot. This is fire. He's really spitting it. So I'm very excited for him.
Wow. With your new album. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
How's it feel now? Look, right now at this moment, I mean, you're successful. You can do art. You can sing. Have you reached that moment of saying, "Well, it's time for a different direction, a little more maturity, a little, something else altogether"? Or you feel, I'm good right now. I'm on the right track where I've been wanting to go, and I'm going to keep going like this for a while longer.
No, I definitely think more maturity. But it's still I still stay true to the influences I had as a kid. So I would say I'm still trying to stay true to the belligerent, chaotic, crazy kid that I am, but maybe with a little bit more of a refined style to it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it slicker and get the lines on
Put
it.
some filters in.
Right, put some filters and
Rounded corners versus sharp corners.
right, exactly, and smooth it out a little, but it's still,
It's still the same Shifty.
it's still the same Shifty.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel exactly the same as him. I mean, me and Seth hung deep back in the day. And I mean, we hung out a lot. We spent a lot of time, you know, up to all kinds of nefarious activities and stuff. And you know, but what I realized is, I mean, back then also, it was a different world out here in Cali and in Los Angeles as well. It was like the wild, wild west in the 80s. It was off the hook here. I mean, you know, it was madness. Yeah. And part of that madness, we were all a part of that madness, you know what I mean? And it takes a while to shake that off. You know what I mean? It takes a good, you know, you spend 10 years doing it, it takes another 10 years to shake it off.
And then once you shake it off, you want to go and get it back.
You want to go get it back.
You're like, wait, where'd that go?
Yeah, I don't feel whole.
All right, exactly.
You know? But having that edge is what's important. I mean, that's why I've never, you know, in all of these years in the entertainment business, acting, you know, moving forward and getting into producing and writing and doing all those things, I've always done graffiti art. I've always found a way to, you know, to keep that as part of my life, because if I don't have that experience, if I don't have, you know, that tie back to what's real and true to me, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm losing myself. So it's like I got to do those things to remind myself, like, who am I really? What am I really about? I got to get back to the streets. I got to get back. You know what I mean? I got to go down to South Central and bomb on the walls down there.
It's our roots.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like I gotta get it. I gotta get it in. You know?
Got to climb that 10-story building.
Absolutely.
Right? Right on. Guys, again, you know, thank you for coming in. You know, appreciate it. All right. Anyway, this is Gus Summers, and you're listening to The In Show, and we have in-studio guests, Mr. Corin Nemec and Shifty. I'm going to have to say your full name at the end, just so I can lengthen the whole thing. It just says Shifty.
Yeah, say Seth. Shifty Seth Binzer.
There you go. And Mr. Seth Shifty Binzer. There you go. Now it's full. All right. All right.
I mean, you can say the band that I was in.
Yeah, Crazy Town.
Well, yeah.
Crazy Town. All right. We'll definitely do that in our next segment. All right. You hang in there. We're going to be right back. And this is The In Show. And I'm your host, Gus Summers. Good to be back with you today. We have two great in-studio guests, two megastars. Boy, of Hollywood, and going way, way back. Boy, actors, artists, rappers. Boy, the whole room is full with just two of them.
There's just two of us.
Of course, I'm talking about Mr. Corin Nemec and Mr. Seth Shifty Binzer from Crazy Town. Boy, you guys, just between two of you, you have what, 50, 60 years of Hollywood?
Oh man, yeah. Because you were also doing the acting thing back in the '80s as well.
Yeah,
but, you know, so yeah. So I mean, you know, we were both all about it.
Yeah, you watch Parker Lewis reruns, and I'm in the background like I'm in the back of the class.
It's funny because a bunch of my buddies used to do extra work on Parker Lewis and stuff like that, and. But I don't know if the producers were that excited about it by season 2.
Yeah, we were. I mean, he held it down on that set. He was the coolest. Like we would be his trailer in the back was like Spicoli. It was like Fast Times.
It was like Fast Times.
It was like Fast Times. There would just be smoke pouring out of it.
All kinds of homies
hanging out, gang members.
Yeah, dude,
it was like the hood at Fox Studios.
Yeah, I get calls from the security gate at the front, you know, and they'd be like,
yeah,
are you sure that these guys are supposed to be?
He would be shooting, and we'd be bored, and we went, me and Allie.
Oh, you guys went swimming.
We were walking around the studio, and we found this huge, like, 4-story tank of water with, like, all these vines in it, and it was, like, literally... and it was warm. We got up to the top, it was warm, so we went swimming in there, and it turned out to be the set for The Abyss, and we moved all these vines that they had been shooting. We got in trouble anyway. It was like,
did they escort you out?
His friends just,
That's awesome.
And my buddy Tristan used to always...
Security had us, he had to come get us.
Oh, yeah. And my buddy Tristan used to always... He was notorious for sneaking away and taking these naps on set when he was needed, you know, and I'd always be having to run around and try and find him. I'm like doing the work that I'm not supposed to do. I'm like, where is he? So I finally started taking photos of him. Every time I'd find him sleeping, I'd take a Polaroid of it for the evidence.
So would he find those little corners?
Dude, I found him behind the air conditioning unit one time on set.
But I mean, you were when that show was, you were young. You were
18 to started working.
Yeah,
on it.
he was
18.
at the top of his game too. That was a big show.
Yeah, it was a big show on Fox.
It was huge.
Yeah, I remember that. Parker
bananas.
Lewis Can't Lose.
Yeah, it was bananas, man.
So you guys hang out because the show went on, what, a couple years, right? 3 years?
3 seasons.
3 seasons.
Yeah.
So the whole time you were with him in the...
No, not the whole time, but enough.
In and out?
Yeah, plus we were hanging out offset all the time and going out, partying, going to clubs and bars and this and that and just, just mayhem,
But there's a lot of memories of it.
Oh, beautiful ones, man.
That was funny because I had mentioned to you over the weekend about ballistics.
Yes.
I'm an LA boy.
You remember Ballistics?
I told myself Faustino.
Ballistics was...
You remember that?
Ballistics was off the hook because if
Will I Am. I saw him one night.
Will I Am, who's a really good friend of mine. We went to Palisades High School together, but Will came out of there, so that's the Black Eyed Peas, and then Alchemist.
The Alchemist.
Yeah.
Alchemist came out of there, and Scott Kahn.
Scott
Kahn.
He would go. Let's see him passing out flyers.
Yeah, a lot of cool, and it was a good times.
That was. He got drawn back all of a sudden.
Evidence.
Yeah, Evidence.
Evidence came out of there.
So were you rapping at the time up there?
Yeah,
did you get up there?
Freestyle competition.
Did you?
I used to rock it at Ballistics.
Yeah.
Nice.
I never rocked it at Ballistics.
That's what you had mentioned.
Yeah.
I remember
went there,
I
but not
brought
that
Will,
often.
and I was like, Will just killed it.
Yeah.
He was like
he was champion for like 11 weeks straight or something like that.
Ridiculous.
It was like like the longest standing champion of history.
Black Eyed Peas. He had put out 5 records before the Black Eyed Peas ever even
Wow.
There was Hat Band Clan.
Right.
Then there was Black Eyed Peas records before they even bubbled over. He paid his dues. Will was one of the I remember
hard worker.
Yeah, what was that? What was the Fat Cap store? What was that one on Melrose?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was right there on the side street. It was like Hex's shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it called Fat Cap?
I think it was called Fat Cap.
Anyway, there was a freestyle competition there that I took Will to, and that's where he got signed when he got his first deal with the Hat Band Clan.
Right.
Eazy-E signed him to Ruthless back in the day.
Wow.
So
that's taking it
back. A lot
back.
of history, yeah.
That's taking it back.
Yeah,
Man. I used to hang out with DJ Speed from NWA and go down to Eazy-E's house in Compton
and water the bush.
Yeah, dude.
Water the bush up there.
Water
the bush is out of control.
That's a trip.
Wow.
That's such a trip. I remember the only time that I ever actually really met Eazy-E though, but I had gone down to the studio with DJ Speed because he was doing some music for me when I was trying to do my rapping thing, and I was only like 15 or 16 at this time period, And so I was down there, and we were kind of messing around in his studio, and then suddenly, and I don't think he was supposed to be there or something, because Eazy walked in with a 40 ounce and at 11 a.m. You know what I mean? He's like, "What's this? What you doing here? What's this white boy doing in my spot?" All this. He was like, he started hounding me, not in a bad way, but just busting my balls, like he had never seen anything of the likes in his crib before.
That's amazing. That's funny. So all this history you guys can trace back and connect yourselves as you go back 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Wow. You do the same type of memory lane with other people when you run into Will I Am? Hey, remember?
Oh yeah. I just saw Will.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we have some wild memories.
Yeah.
Nice. Any future connection with you two on stage or anything?
No. Will's actually, he's doing some beats for me. So.
Yeah, is that right?
Oh.
Yeah, on this new album?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Nice.
wow. We just got an exclusive there. Nice. But that's all we'll say. So when's it, talking about your music and everything, when's it scheduled to be coming out?
You know what? I'm not gonna even say.
It's just that good. Too much material.
No, not even that. I just don't have an accurate date.
Right.
Right now, I'm halfway done with the record, and I'm
Awesome.
in no hurry. I'm making the record I want to make.
Awesome.
So,
So-
but it will be coming out.
So you still have to pick a name.
I have a name, but
Oh, okay.
He's just not dropping it yet.
Yeah, I got you. I have a name.
Life is good with a mystery sandwich.
It is. You got to leave it out. Look at him. He's like,
and if I want to change it at the last minute, I don't want to say it.
he goes, I can't change it now. I
Right,
said it on there.
So,
Well, fantastic.
less is more.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. And Corin, I want to give you a chance. I know you're doing Peacefest. You're doing all kinds of work. And anything else that you can tell us about?
I mean, right now, really, I'm just focused on Peacefest and getting this weekend, in the can and making sure that everything goes off without a hitch. Really looking forward to.
I got to give it up to you. He put this thing together, like,
Yeah,
it's been mad.
Right.
It's cost me a piece of my sanity, but it's well worth the slice that's missing. I'll just include that with the rest of the slice.
And the show's going to be off the hook. I think. I think
got a great lineup.
They've done every other style of show. I mean, they've done it about dance.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had great success, but the whole graffiti aspect hasn't really been covered.
Right. Right.
So it's going to be cool to see.
That'd be awesome.
Don't forget to grab your LA Weekly if you want to get in for cheap.
Nice.
Exactly.
Or show up
You get
before
the LA
420.
Week, the LA Weekly coupon.
The coupons are the whole page.
The whole page.
It's like the golden. It's like the Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Exactly.
Great analogy. And Shifty, and he's going to be scheduled to perform at what time?
We went on around 2:00.
I think it might be a little bit later than that. I don't have the
Maybe
exact
3,
schedule
2 or
on me,
3.
but it's somewhere
Okay.
in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is a graffiti thing.
Right.
It's not a night.
Yeah, it's not a night thing. There will be some bands performing at night, but
Right.
but actually the primary bulk of the groups, like Shifty, Andre Legacy, Kev Hicks, Patience Price, our headliners are all going to be performing during the graffiti battle as that's going on.
Right.
And then so after our headliner performs at around 6, so it's structured differently than your normal festival.
But it will go into the night.
But it's going to go into the night. But then we're going to have more live bands and stuff like that later on in the night, and that way all of our performers and everything, and judges and all of that, they'll have an opportunity to finish work, be done with their their part of it, and be able to enjoy the festival as well.
Nice. So you'll be able to perform, and then you just be able to take a look. You're going to do a little spray painting there? I mean, have the
definitely.
freestyle
Man, grab some cans.
And how about you, Corin? I know you're going to be wearing the
I'm going to be
helmet
probably
and
gonna be too
everything.
busy, but I'll try and get over there and at least get a throw up in or something.
So somewhere, so they can film that, and that can be part of the pilot and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man.
Fantastic. Again, guys, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you.
You bet.
Yeah,
I know
thank you.
you're busy schedules, and look forward to Saturday. So
Yeah, man.
definitely see you there. Well,
We'll
you
see you
guys,
there, brother.
absolutely.
See you there.
Great to be on the show, guys.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
a lot. All right. Hey, well, this is Gus Summers, and you've been listening to The In Show. And we had in-studio guest, Mr. Corin Nemec, and Mr. Seth Shifty Binzer. And we have a lot more of them on theinshow.com. We're going to be posting this, so you can be able to hear this interview and, of course, be able to see them as well. So we'll definitely catch you next time.